The exact timing of Betelgeuse's explosion is uncertain due to several factors. Astronomers have observed that Betelgeuse exhibits irregular and significant variations in brightness, a phenomenon that has prompted extensive studies to understand the underlying causes. These brightness variations are believed to be influenced by complex processes occurring within the star, such as convection currents, pulsations, and potential mass ejections. Despite these studies, predicting the precise moment of the supernova remains challenging. Researchers have developed models to simulate the final stages of a star's life, taking into account various physical processes and conditions that might lead to a supernova. However, these models are based on our current understanding of stellar evolution, which is constantly evolving with new data and observations. Some models suggest that Betelgeuse could explode within the next million years, while others propose a much shorter timescale, possibly within a few decades or even sooner. The distance of Betelgeuse from Earth adds another layer of complexity to the prediction, given that light from Betelgeuse takes approximately 700 years to reach us. Any event occurring on the star would only be observed on Earth after this time delay. This means that Betelgeuse could have already exploded, and the light from that explosion might still be on its way to us, set to arrive at any moment. The potential for such a delayed revelation adds to the excitement and anticipation surrounding the star. The explosion of Betelgeuse as a supernova will be a momentous event both scientifically and culturally. If it occurs within our lifetime, it will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to observe a supernova with the naked eye. The event will not only transform our night sky temporarily, making it as bright as day, but it will also provide an unparalleled opportunity for astronomers to study the mechanics of a supernova explosion in real time. The data gathered from such an event could lead to significant advancements in our understanding of stellar evolution, nucleosynthesis, the creation of heavy elements within stars, and the dynamics of supernova remnants. Culturally, the explosion of Betelgeuse will mark the end of an era. For thousands of years, Betelgeuse has been a prominent fixture in the night sky, known and revered by various civilizations. Its disappearance will alter the familiar outline of the Orion constellation, which has been a navigational aid and a source of myths and legends across different cultures. The loss of Betelgeuse will be felt not just scientifically but also emotionally, as it symbolizes the transient nature of even the most seemingly eternal celestial objects. In summary, while we can be certain that Betelgeuse will eventually explode as a supernova, the precise timing of this event remains elusive. The anticipation of this cosmic spectacle continues to captivate both astronomers and the public, highlighting the dynamic and ever-changing nature of our universe. As we await this monumental event, ongoing observations and advancements in technology will continue to enhance our understanding of stellar life cycles and the awe-inspiring phenomena that occur within the cosmos. Researchers speculate that it could already have happened and that due to the enormous distance of around 700 light-years, we might see the light of the explosion tomorrow, in 10 years, or even in many decades. The time delay caused by the speed of light makes it impossible to predict the exact moment when Betelgeuse disappears. It will not only end the life cycle of a star but also an era in human history. Betelgeuse has played a significant role for thousands of years as one of the brightest and most prominent objects in the night sky. In many cultures, Betelgeuse has served as an important landmark and has been immortalized in many myths and legends around the globe. Primitive peoples know this bright red star, and for seafarers and desert nomads, the star was an important guiding star that helped to determine direction. With the disappearance of Betelgeuse, the constellation Orion, the great hunter of the night sky, will no longer be the same. Betelgeuse forms the right shoulder of Orion and is one of the brightest points in this constellation, alongside the distinctive sword. Its glow contributes significantly to the recognizability of this popular constellation. The loss of Betelgeuse will leave a clear gap in this celestial figure, and Orion will no longer be the same after the explosion. The final demise of Betelgeuse as a supernova will not only be an impressive astronomical event but also a cultural phenomenon. It will change our perception of the night sky forever, and those who witness the event live will not forget it for the rest of their lives. Betelgeuse's demise may inspire people to create entirely new stories and myths that retell the role of Betelgeuse and Orion in human culture in new ways. The fate of Betelgeuse also makes us ruthlessly aware that even the seemingly eternal stars are mortal and subject to constant change. Although the processes take place in completely different cycles and time dimensions than life and death on Earth, they nevertheless reflect the universal nature of creation, existence, and transience. The latest update on the situation of Betelgeuse baffles scientists. A unique snapshot of events directly on the surface of the red giant star should provide new clues as to when Betelgeuse will explode as a gigantic supernova. The latest observations show highly interesting changes in the brightness and structure of Betelgeuse. Are these now the decisive indications that the star is progressing faster than expected in its final phase of life? These unexpected developments raise questions about the exact date of the explosion. What exactly do we know, and should we be afraid? The latest observations of the red supergiant in the constellation Orion have once again stirred up the astronomical community. Back in late 2019 and early 2020, scientists documented a striking phenomenon that raised questions. Betelgeuse suddenly dimmed dramatically, and some thought the end of the star might have come. Betelgeuse is normally one of the 10 brightest stars in the night sky, and suddenly it became so dark that Betelgeuse slipped to 21st place in the hit list of the brightest celestial bodies. What had happened? First of all, this unexpected and dramatic change in Betelgeuse's luminosity triggered an intense debate among astronomers. The state of the star was highly unusual, and the sudden loss of brightness stimulated heated speculation about Betelgeuse's immediate future. Betelgeuse's dimming is normal to a certain extent. It's like the flickering of an old star slowly running out of fuel. But the eclipses in 2019 and 2020 were particularly notable. They were seen by some experts as possible indicators of the approaching end of the star's life cycle. Stars of this type typically show changes in their brightness caused by internal processes such as convection and associated surface activity. However, the extent of Betelgeuse's decline in brightness was so extraordinary that much more dramatic processes inside the star must be involved. In 2020, the all-clear was given. The sudden dimming of Betelgeuse could be explained naturally. In 2024, the magazine Sky and Telescope reported that Betelgeuse was once again experiencing an inexplicable decrease in brightness. And there may be increasing evidence that something else is going on with Betelgeuse than scientists suspect. New data in 2024. Is the end approaching? Have you ever thought about how scientists recognize that a star is about to explode? Events like this don't happen that often. Nevertheless, we now know quite well what is happening on and in old stars that are about to explode. Here it must be seen in a cosmic context. Betelgeuse is definitely in the final stages of its stellar life. And yet, the final phases of the star can still last for thousands of years. Thanks to ever-improving technical capabilities, our knowledge of old stars and supernovae has improved enormously in recent decades. Modern telescopes such as the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope allow us to see not only the surface but also the interior of stars. Telescopes like James Webb can detect infrared radiation from the interior of the star, allowing us to see what is going on in the deep layers of Betelgeuse. The continuous monitoring of Betelgeuse by various observatories on Earth and in space aims to collect more and more data that could help us understand the causes of the frequent changes in brightness and make the most accurate predictions possible about the star's future developments. So, we know quite well what is going on around Betelgeuse, and yet scientists were surprised and intrigued at the same time when signs of dimming appeared again in 2024. In 2020, researchers found an explanation. Betelgeuse had experienced a gigantic mass ejection in which large amounts of stellar material were hurled into space. Some of the mass also formed a dust cloud that obscured large parts of the star for weeks and then dissipated again. We are also familiar with such ejections from our Sun, but they are on a much smaller scale. Now it happened again. Betelgeuse showed a conspicuous change in its brightness, and this time no signs of dust clouds or ejections were found. What happened this time? And is there increasing evidence of an explosion? Some scientists gave the all-clear. They are sure that the unusual loss of brightness observed at the present time are small deviations within the cyclical dimming that we have been observing for a long time. Betelgeuse knows two basic cycles in which it periodically dims. Its light follows a smaller cycle of about 5.5 years and a longer cycle of about 10.5 years. Smaller or larger deviations are possible, as stars are not clockworks. Despite the denials of some researchers, Japanese scientists have come to a completely different conclusion. In a study, the Japanese astronomer Keir found that the peculiarities of Betelgeuse's luminosity could be caused by subtle changes in the structure of the star, and that there is no complete explanation for these changes in the current models of stellar evolution. If it happens, what will we see of the supernova? It would definitely be a once-in-a-lifetime experience if we witnessed the explosion of a star that is visible to the naked eye on Earth. The possibility that Betelgeuse will soon go supernova fascinates not only astronomers but also the general public. Many people would like to see such an event for themselves, although the imminent explosion of the star also triggers fears in many people. A supernova in such relative proximity to Earth would be a unique and spectacular event. Betelgeuse is about 700 light-years away from us, and the final event would be seen by anyone on Earth who is outdoors or near a window. The sky will be dazzlingly bright for a few moments, and when the light reaches us at night, the darkness will become as bright as day for a few moments. Then, for weeks or months, we would see a brightly shining new celestial body that can easily compete with the moon in terms of luminosity. A supernova originally referred to a new star. The people who witnessed these rare events in bygone eras knew nothing of stellar explosions. They thought the brightly shining remnants were new celestial bodies. People were all the more astonished when the new celestial body disappeared again after a few weeks or months. A neutron star or a cosmic nebula then remains in these places, but these are only visible with very good telescopes. Supernovae are definitely one of the most spectacular events in the universe. Massive stars, in particular, end in this way, while smaller stars often simply burn up. The cosmic explosions of old stars play a crucial role in the cycle of matter within the cosmos. Supernovae eject heavy elements that were produced in the cores of the stars through nuclear fusion into space and elsewhere. This mass serves as a building block for new stars and planets. This is cosmic recycling of superlatives. In a galaxy like our Milky Way, such an explosion takes place about once a century. However, we only see at least a few of them. Supernovae are extremely rare to see with the naked eye. Around 100 years ago, the supernova SN 1054 was documented by Chinese astronomers. They reported a bright event, the appearance and disappearance of a new or unknown celestial body. Today we know that SN 1054 was the birth of the Crab Nebula. This supernova was so bright that it was even visible during the day, and the Crab Nebula is still an important object of study for astronomers today. In the modern age, ever-improving telescopes make it possible to observe supernovae accurately even in distant galaxies. Thanks to these observations, we know more and more about the physical processes. And yet, events such as the Betelgeuse explosion remain exceptional astronomical events. Another example of a very well-documented supernova in modern times is SN 1987A, which occurred in 1987 in the Large Magellanic Cloud. The Large Magellanic Cloud is a rather small galaxy that orbits our Milky Way like a satellite. SN 1987A exploded on February 23, 1987, and was the next observed supernova since the invention of the telescope. This supernova reached a maximum brightness of about 3 magnitudes and was also briefly visible to the naked eye. The remnants of SN 1987A can still be seen today and have been studied in detail with the Hubble Space Telescope and the Chandra X-ray Observatory. The observations have shown that the core of the supernova collapsed into a neutron star surrounded by an expanding ring of material. This ring of material ejected during the explosion is held in place by the intense gravitational pull of the neutron star at its center. The gravitational forces at play are so immense that they have formed a stable glowing ring that emits light in various wavelengths, including X-rays and visible light, providing a stunning and detailed view of the aftermath of such a colossal event. One thing is certain: Betelgeuse will explode. The question of when exactly Betelgeuse will explode as a supernova remains one of the most intriguing and debated topics in modern astronomy. Betelgeuse, also known as Alpha Orionis, is a red supergiant star located in the constellation Orion, approximately 700 light-years away from Earth. It is one of the largest and most luminous stars visible to the naked eye, and its impending explosion has been the subject of much speculation and research within the scientific community.